As for starters, Patrick, what was this injury for you, and were you excited you were able to get back maybe a little quicker than expected?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you get injured, it's pretty disappointing. It was like halfway through that Chicago game, and it's tough, right? Going back to Chicago, obviously we were flying to start, and you kind of feel something midway through the game. It's kind of changes the way you play the rest of the game, but I think myself and the organization, we pretty much tried to do everything we could to speed up the process, and you hear a lot of different timelines. I think we made it to the point where everyone was comfortable with me playing and coming back, and passed all the tests I needed to, so it was nice to get back out there last game.
How much did you want to make sure you were back for tomorrow's matchup with Winnipeg and Jonathan Taves?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think when you first get injured, you're thinking about, how soon can I be back, and when's the quickest I can be back, especially when, as a team and, myself personally, you're starting to find your game a little bit, and it's frustrating to sit a couple weeks out, but and then, as time goes on, it's just like, okay, I got to make sure I'm as ready as possible when I get back, and obviously you're, looking at the calendar, and, Taves is coming to town. It'll be fun to play him for the first time ever in the NHL. Obviously, we've played against each other in international competitions and Olympics and World Cup, World Championships, but this will be totally different facing off for the first time in the NHL.
Patrick, kind of had to come to terms with the fact your injuries will affect the Olympic rosters. I mean, they're due tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I thought, I came out, had a good start to the season. Obviously, I was injured for a little bit. I think I missed 9 games there, and coming back maybe took me a little bit to kind of find my timing again, and thought I found it before the last injury, so kind of in the same boat again, just, try to find my timing, try to find my rhythm, and I thought our line had a lot of good looks last game, had some good chances, overall felt pretty good, so it was a good feeling to be back out there and playing again and playing hockey and do what you love to do instead of, rehabbing and trying to get yourself right. So, as far as the Olympics, whatever happens. I haven't heard anything, so, we'll kind of see on that note.
How much of you and Jonathan kind of stayed in touch? I mean, it's still pretty regular. And how neat was it to see him come back this season like that?
Yeah. Definitely stay in touch quite a bit throughout the season, just kind of check in on each other here and there, and I think it's great for the league that he's back. It's a better league when he's in the game, and it's a great story in Winnipeg too, obviously being born there and coming back and playing there, and I was watching a little bit of his first game there in Winnipeg. They're showing his family in the crowd, and just how close they were with my family, and all the great times we had together. Just kind of seeing everyone enjoying him, playing again in the NHL and being back playing that was a great moment. So it's great for the game and great for Johnny, obviously, in the city of Winnipeg too.
You're so close to 500. Do you have your family and such with you every game now, just to be there for that moment?
You know what? They haven't. They were in Chicago, and then it was kind of the last game, the first game I came back from injury was kind of like a spur of the moment, last minute thing that I was playing, so they weren't here last game. But we'll see. I don't know if they're. I mean, my dad's on his own schedule. Who knows with him, Sometimes he shows up, I don't even know, and sometimes he'll tell me a few days in advance. But I'm sure he'd want to be, in attendance for that when it happens.
Is your son old enough to appreciate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He gets mad at me now when we play and I don't score, and I'm stuck on 497, 498, whatever it is. So he always tells me before the game, go get whatever the next one is. So he's staying on top of it. He's into that stuff. He just turned 5, so he's at a pretty good age now where he's loving numbers and stats and players on the team and the way everyone tapes their stick, all that type of stuff, their numbers, things like that. So it's a fun age for sure.
What do you?
Go ahead. All those years in Chicago you played with Taves, do you ever look back and think of just how many games you played together with him and just how many goals you scored, you guys together?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number. I don't know if it's over. It's got to be over 1,000. I'm not sure though. But I mean, just the memories we have together will last a lifetime, right? Coming in together, being roommates right away. Rookies right away, kind of going through everything, with that. We had the same agent, so we were doing a lot of things together. And then, obviously when the team started to get better and we started to make some runs and just kind of, feeding off each other, having that internal competition. That's one thing I'll always appreciate about Johnny is the internal competition, the willingness to push each other, every day, every game, every season. That was the guy I was always trying to keep an eye on, right? If he scored, I wanted to score. If he came in during the summer and looked better than the season before, I wanted to make sure I was right there with him or better than him, right? It was always a type of internal competition that was healthy, but, we were always pushing each other too. So I always appreciate that about him and just the moments, man. I mean, the runs in the playoffs and scoring overtime goals and celebrating with one another and just being amazed at the other one, what they were doing in the toughest moments, in the most critical situations was, those are moments I'll never forget.
As you hit the midpoint of the season, where have you seen the most growth in this group this year?
Finding ways to win. I think that's something we talked about, during the off season and training camp, was that resiliency, right? I mean, you could easily see that game against Toronto maybe go the other way last year or the year before, and for whatever reason this year, we're finding ways to kind of dig in those moments and turn the game in our favor and in our way. And even when it's 2-1 and we're probably outplaying them and they're in the lead, we come back next shift and find a way to score and find a way to get a point and get the extra point, right? So all those add up, and I think that's happened a lot throughout the first half of the year.
It was John Leonard who initially stepped in on your line. What did you like seeing the most from him, especially that he was able to score twice in 2 games there?
Yeah, he played well. I mean, I think you see his anticipation for the play, his ability to get to the net. I mean, I know he's got a great shot. He's proved that in the minors as well with scoring a lot of goals. But, yeah, he did a great job. And, that line was still, finding ways to be effective. So, it was – listen, I mean, I think playing with Copper and Cat has been really fun, and I've really enjoyed it. I think we're always pushing each other as well and trying to get better each game and trying to find ways to get better and be more effective. But it's been fun playing with those two guys, and I think, we've definitely found something there.
What do you tell Trick when he's giving you grief that you haven't hit 500 yet?
I said, tell him you're right. I said, I got to – he's like, you got to work harder. You got to work harder. And I'm like, you're right. I have to. But it's great. He's at a great age, so it's he's kind of kind of your biggest fan in some ways, right? And at the same time, he's he'll be in the crowd talking to strangers and telling everyone his whole life story and who his family is and his dad and how old we are and things like that. So he's not afraid to tell anyone anything. Sometimes you gotta quiet him down a little bit, but no, he's really at a fun age right now.
You get so caught up in game by game, winning games, especially with where you guys are in the standings. But have you let it hit you a little bit, like where you are, and how much like that you're on the cusp of history, especially with your family?
Yeah, a little bit. I think in some ways for this group, it'd be nice to just kind of accomplish those things and then worry about the season, right? Move on. And the team's playing so good. I mean, that's what I tell some of these guys. I'm like, I've been on good teams, and this is a good team. We have a good team in here, and a chance to do special things. So, yeah, in some ways it'd be nice to just kind of get those out of the way a little bit.
Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate you.
Are you still? You're not feeling the effects of the shot block from the other night, or it was enough to kind of keep you out of the lineup?
Yeah, I'm feeling much better now, but yeah, I was a little limited for sure, especially the last few days. But yeah, definitely much better today, trending in the right direction, and we'll see where it goes from there.
As you guys approach mid-season, James, it's like, how confident are you that you guys can keep this rolling the way you guys have been the last little while?
Yeah, I think we've definitely earned some of the confidence just with the way we've played, but it's always about the next game, especially with how tight the standings are. I mean, from 1 through 8 in our division, I think it's like 7 or 8 points from that, so you don't have time to not be ready to play any game. So you gotta give yourself a chance every night, and yeah, obviously we got a ton of divisional games throughout the rest of the year, and obviously every game for us is an important one. But yeah, we're excited for that challenge.
We've talked about Patrick before, but how cool is it just to be this close to watching him?
Yeah,
so
it's a pretty special thing. Yeah, some pretty impressive companies in for us, some of those, and some impressive totals. So that's definitely fun to see him closing in on a few of those.
Looking at what you guys did in December, I mean, you've bounced back from losses, it seems like, every single time over the last month. You guys talk about being resilient, but does that kind of prove something to guys that hey, we drop one, but we bounce back?
For sure. I think that's part of any good team is not letting those kind of things linger when you have a bad game or it doesn't go your way. You just get ready and ready for the next one. So that's the mark of a good team, I think, is just having that consistent approach. And you're not always going to get the result that you want, but I think if you have that consistent approach, it'll even itself out over the course of a long season.
Patrick was just saying that he's been on good teams, and this is a good team, and that's kind of the message he gives to the guys in the room. When you've been on a lot of teams yourself, when you see this one, what do you think the qualities are that make you guys a good team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think ultimately it's about finding that consistency. I think it's, again, any team could beat any other team on any given night in this league, but the good ones find ways to be consistently have their consistent kind of play to their identity and play to their strengths and play as a team, and they're able to have that consistent success. So I think we've been able to do a lot of that so far this year, and obviously, again, we just got to keep having our foot on the gas and keep pushing it forward.
Patrick's going to be playing against Jonathan for the first time. What was it like for you going against guys like Claude Giroux or Austin Matthews? Guys obviously didn't play with him as long as Patrick did with Jonathan, but what is it like facing a former teammate like that?
Yeah, it's always it's definitely a funny thing, especially if you spend a lot of time as a line mate with a guy, having him on the other side. But yeah, I'm sure they're both competitive guys, so they're going to want to get the best of it tomorrow night. But obviously, they've got such a shared bond and history with everything that they've kind of been through and everything they've accomplished together. So I'm sure that's something they're looking forward to.
Coach, is the plan to have JVR back in the lineup for tomorrow night?
He looked good in practice. I haven't checked in with Pete or him after practice, but based on my eyeball test, it is. We'll have to get a report from him and the medical team, but he looked good to me.
And then obviously tomorrow will be the first time in their career that Patrick and Jonathan Taves have played against one another. Obviously you coached against them kind of earlier in their careers in the Western Conference Final. Just how special of players have they been throughout their careers, and what does it mean to you to be able to coach one of them now?
Yeah, well, they're both going to a place in Toronto as soon as they're done, and I think that alone tells you how special they've been. 3 cups and all the accolades that goes with it, individual awards and stuff like that. But having been around Johnny a little bit at All-Star Game and knowing him a bit, but certainly Patrick, it's always team first, and that's probably why they ended up winning. It wasn't about individual stuff, so it's an honor to be in the league with them. A real honor to at least coach one of them.
Tomorrow's the midway point of the season. Where have you seen this team grow the most from the start of the season? Just what stands out to you most about this first half?
Well, it's really hard because I believe all the pieces go together, and when you improve 2% in one area and 2% in another, and you start putting it all together, the curve goes up. It's not a steep curve, but we've slowly been getting better. But I think the stuff that's not measurable, the mental part of it, the game management stuff that doesn't show up on on a stat sheet. Analytics, it's really hard to evaluate it. Probably in those areas more than anything.
How do you kind of manage in the late game situations when you have guys like Seider and Edvinsson that can take a lot of minutes and I'm sure want to take? How do you kind of balance giving them as much as they kind of want and can handle and kind of also trying to work everyone else in? Like, how do you approach that?
Well, when we start a night, we have a plan, and hopefully that game plan allows us to get the lead, and now we're playing, and inevitably you start to narrow. Especially in a tight game, situations dictate who should or shouldn't be on the ice, and we start to narrow the roster down a little bit. It just happens. And if you're in the NHL, you have to expect it. One way or the other, you have to be ready to go a little bit more, whether that's Mo or Simon, or maybe you go a little bit less. That's just the way it happens, and we have to make quick decisions on the bench, coaching staff, about situations, who may be on the ice for them, who should be on the ice for us, potential face-off scenarios. And we're not always right. We might miss somebody, but it happens fast, and that's just the way it goes.
Todd, Patrick was talking in there about sort of reminding guys occasionally, I've been on good teams, and this is a good team, and sort of the importance of confidence. Where do you see confidence showing up on the ice with this group as this season has gone along?
It's growing. You know what, I think the word confidence is a real important word, and we use it often. We don't want to take it to the point of arrogance. I don't believe we've got even close to that, nor should we ever, and that'll be our job to stop it, but we want to maintain confidence. But respect, I think, is important too, and I think that we're starting to earn some respect from each other in the room and maybe around the league, but with respect comes responsibility. Once you get respected, you better be responsible and live up to it, and that's the next phase that we're going to have to deal with. We have to bring it every night now.
Dad, we probably asked you this last season, last year around this time, but when you took over, when you looked at the roster, was there some intriguing potential that you saw there? It's like, this could be an interesting team to coach.
Yeah, there's some tremendous pieces sitting at home in December watching the Red Wings play last year. I'm talking about, and there's some pieces there that other teams would jump up and say, please, we'll take them. They're really good young players. There's some older players that are really good. But until you really get around them on a daily basis, starting in practice, their body language, the way they behave and interact with each other, you really don't know what the team has. And that's what allowed us over the last year to generally figure out.
Todd, I'm in the back of the class today.
What are you doing back there?
Felt like hiding today.
Yeah.
I have the serious
detention.
Yeah, that's right. I have the serious questions for you today too. What's your New Year's resolution?
Oh boy, it's not New Year's yet. I haven't even thought of it.
Close.
Yeah, but you have to. I'll think about it. You ask me New Year's Eve, and I'll try and find one.
Okay, your players had the same response. I'm just
yeah.
saying,
I don't think any of us are thinking about that at all. My wife probably has about 15 of them for me, but I'll figure it out.
Todd, right here. You guys had a tough stretch to close out November, but here in December you haven't lost back-to-back games. You've always found a way to rebound. Is that a sign of maturity for a team that's still learning how to win?
It's a good sign. You'd like not to be in that situation, obviously, but when you are, and it's hard to play at the top of your game all 82. It just is. But when you don't have your good game, can you move on and recover? That's a real good trait that a lot of really good teams have, and we're still evolving in that area. But we've shown some resiliency all year. Even when we were down, we've been able to come back some nights, not every night. So it is a good quality to have, yes. Okay. Yep.